And welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and Happy New Year. And this is the beginning of a new year in the studio, which means clean up the studio, start new work, and then the idea comes to me, well, what's the idea? What should I be doing? I'm always asked that question. It's a great question. Well, actually, a painting has to have what I call the 5 C's, the number 5, the letter C. It has to have a concept, it has to have a composition, a color combination, and then I do more than just one. I continue on and do many of them, all based on this, and I stay committed to the same idea. When I get a different idea during this whole process, I start a new painting, a new canvas, right? I don't keep putting ideas on top of ideas on top of ideas. When you get a new idea, get a new canvas. Anyway, for instance, here's a canvas that's been done. The concept was about a powerful lady and her staff. She's a leader, right? That was the concept. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. What's the composition? I went to my composition chart, saw the word diagonal. Cool, that's the one I've chosen. Here we have the diagonal composition, right? What's the next combination is the color. These are the colors that I use for my own color wheel. I've chosen 4 of them: dominant color, focal point color, and the 2 spice colors are right there. For instance, this is mostly a green. It may not come across as green on your screen, but it's mostly green. The focal point is certainly right in this area, the purple, just like the chart says, and the 2 spice colors, red and blue, a little red, a little blue around the focal point. The rest is just having way too much fun. So that's the concept, the composition, the color combination. I did many of these, as a matter of fact, and I stayed committed on that one theme. And what ended up was I had a whole gallery show based on one theme. That's why you keep doing the same thing, and so it's a real strong show. But let me show you back here at my table of how I get started also. So this is how I get my ideas. I start off with my sketchbooks, always my sketchbooks. By the way, paint the cover of your sketchbooks. These are all sketchbooks with painted covers. That way you know it's your sketchbook. Otherwise, they're all looking with that black cover. So, and by the way, when you use a sketchbook, use it for writing down ideas, saving some of your old paintings, putting them in there. I can't remember everything that goes on inside my head, so I write it down. Makes more room for more ideas, right? So I'm writing to myself all the time ideas for paintings. Once we do that, great. Don't forget to paint on the front covers. Also the back covers. You never know. Now I know it's my sketchbook. Let's go back to my chart. That's the concept. Pretty simple. I always like to say, so what's the big idea for the concept? I don't make it complicated or spiritual or anything like that. I want a strong, write it down concept. Write it out. All right, composition. Now, what's the second letter C? Is the composition. I go to my composition chart. These are universally standard designs that are universally accepted, that we think they're aesthetically pleasing. I didn't make this up. 16 design compositions. You choose one of those. Choose one of those. All right? And what's the next part is, what's the color combination? And so I'm going to use my own color wheel. You can use anybody's color wheel, but this is mine. And I only choose 4 colors. It's something I like to do. Only 4 colors, and I get those 4 colors out on the table. And I do combinations of those. Say this is a human figure. How this works for me is the combination is the dominant color is mostly green, according to my wheel. See, green's dominant color. The focal point color in this case is going to be more purplish. green, purple. There's your focal point color. There's my focal point color. Pretty simple here. And a little red and a little blue. Again, I got that from the color wheel. A little red, a little blue are the two spice colors. So a little bit of red and a little bit of blue around the focal point. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So I do many of those with lots of different combinations of compositions. So here's more of an abstract version of the same thing. Look how different they are. This is more abstract. This is the series I'm calling Penthouse. So the dominant color is green. Doesn't have to be exactly that same green that's on the color wheel. Look at all the different kinds of greens I have. And yes, that's 80% of the footprint, the green, dominant color. Focal point is only 10%. 10%, about 10% of that area is the focal point. Then the two spice colors, according to my wheel, is red and blue. Spice colors, not a whole lot of color here, about 5% each. There's the red, there's the blue. Pretty simple, subtle, easy, not muddy. It works because I stuck with the color combinations. When you start changing your colors, I don't guarantee you how the paint's going to end up. But I'll do many of these color combinations based on whatever the color combination is that day. Many small ones. And if they work on the small scale, I know they're going to work a little bit better on the larger scale. Now, let me show you my art materials that I use to make all these wonderful things. So most of my paintings are done right here on a table. I like to paint flat. That way the paint's not running all over the place, right? So I have everything at arm's length. That's so important. I need to know where everything is, and it has to be in arm's reach. I don't like to do a lot of busy work, running around the studio, and I'm so confused, I'm so creative. You're not gonna be very productive that way. So when I'm focused, I am staying right here in focus, right? And to get the job done. All right. So here's my table, the materials that I use. Here's a wooden panel. I love three-dimensional wooden panels. It already has been gessoed. Isn't that beautiful? Many different versions out there. Or I'll work on 300-pound watercolor paper. This one happens to be Kilimanjaro paper from Cheap Joe catalog. Love that stuff. Or I'll paint on hot press watercolor paper from a pad. This is Fabriano. Great, wonderful paper, right? So there's the paper. Your choice. It can be also a canvas. The colors are from my color wheel, as I mentioned to you. Dominant color, green. Focal point, purple. And the two spice colors, red and blue. That's it. That's all I put on the table. I don't start looking for pretty colors. That's it. Plus, I might put in there some black and white. Always black and white. My brushes, I get all the brushes I think I'm going to be needing out really close to me. Right? I don't line up thousands of brushes that I've saved since high school. All right? Just put out the brushes that you're going to use. Big buckets of water, not tiny little teacups of water. Big buckets of water. Make a commitment, okay? That way you can find it too. Paper towels, tape, and I'm all set, ready to go. Now you know all my secrets. There are no secrets in painting. You just get into the studio and you do it, and you get your ideas because you really want to do it. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. I really want to do it. So stay committed and have a great new year and do new work in this new year. See you on the next BobBlast, and thanks again for watching.